Good morning, class. As before Diwali holidays, we have completed the poem Snare by James Stephens in workbook also. Now today we are going to start with a new lesson in English Literature course book, that is The Wise Men of Ramnagar. Now today I am going to start with the explanation of the chapter The Wise Men of Ramnagar on page number 91. Now before starting the explanation of this chapter in book, let me tell you about this chapter. In this chapter, The Wise Men of Ramnagar, this is a story about the village of Ramnagar. There was a village named Ramnagar. It was a large village, and the land of there was very rich and very fertile, as it produces an abundance of crops every year. And the people who were living there had no enemies. They were having no enemies or nothing with no stress with anyone else also. They were living happily. And after listening that the road was going to be built, which was going to pass through the town from their village also, they hold a meeting there, and in the meeting they were thinking that how should they stop the town people from from starting the road which was going to be built. They have applied many ideas, and they were and after applying many ideas for them from stopping the road, they won from that idea, as they stopped the townspeople from building that road. This is the story. Now let us begin with the story in the book. Chapter 8, The Wise Men of Ramnagar. This is on page number 91. As I have already told you about the story, now let us begin with the story in the book. Once upon a time, there was a village called Ramnagar. The name of the village was Ramnagar. It was quite a large village, and it lay near a wide river. It was a big, large village, and it lay along the side of the river. The land was rich and fertile. As the land was rich and fertile, that means it is in abundance of producing vegetable and crops, and the people who lived there were happy and wealthy. They were living happily and wealthy. They had no enemies and lived peacefully. They had no enemies. That means they have no things to fight, and they lived peacefully without any violence. They troubled no one, and no one troubled them. They were not interrupting in anyone's thing, and no one interrupted them. 10 miles away from the village there was a town. 10 miles away from the village there was a town. One day the people of the town held a meeting. The town people were holding a meeting. All the townsfolk gathered in a market place. It is the term which is being used for town people. All the townspeople gathered in the marketplace. They all got together in the market. The people of the town were going to discuss a new plan for the road. They were going to discuss a new plan which was going to be built between the village and the town. The road was going to be built between their town and another town. They were going to discuss a new plan about the road which was going to be built between their town and another town, about 20 miles away. A large map of the area was brought, and soon a route was worked out. They brought a new map for the area about which they were going to discuss, and a route, and and they were discussing about from which way the road is going to be built. The people decided how much they were going to spend on the building of the road, and they were also going to decide about the expense which they were going to use for building the road. Following this meeting, the work was started on the road. After this meeting, the work was going to be started on the road. As soon as the work began, the news reached the people of Ramnagar. And as soon as the work of them began, this news about the road reached to the people of Ramnagar. Some of the villagers got together and went to find out more about the new road. When they got to the town, they went straight to the office of the district officer. District officer is the manager of the whole district. That means he serves the district people. They had looked at a map, and they all had a look at the map of the road. The villagers went back to Ramnagar and called a meeting. The villagers went again back to the villagers people went back to the Ramnagar, and they called a meeting there. One of the men who had seen the map said, "People of Ramnagar, today some of us saw the map of the new road. It is going to pass close to our village. It is going to pass through our village. It will go through some of our best field, and they will be getting destroyed." When the people of Ramnagar called a meeting, and they said in the meeting that they have seen the map, and the road which is going to be built will pass through their village, and some of their best fields will be getting destroyed. I hope you all are understanding this chapter. What shall we do to stop this road? And they were thinking, what shall they do to stop this road to get built from their village? The villagers were very angry, and they got very angry from this discussion. They sat in a meeting for 3 whole days. At last, they thought of a plan. And they were thinking of a plan. A week after meeting a man from the town came to Ramnagar. And after a week, whom they have met, the man from the town came to their village, that is Ramnagar. When he got to the village, let us turn the page. When they got to the village, he saw a great crowd of people beside the river. The man from the town was very curious, as he was the man who have came from the town was eager to learn something. He went over to where the people had gathered. He went to the place where the people had gathered. He squeezed. That means he pressed it physically over through the river, and he squeezed through the crowd and saw an amazing sight. He was just going through the crowd, and he saw an amazing sight there. There were 7 men standing on the bank of the river, and 7 on the other. 7 were standing this side, and 7 were standing on the opposite side of them. They were holding a thick rope in their hand. Both were holding a thick rope in their hand, which stretched across the river. In the middle, someone had tied a cup. As they were holding a thick rope in which they were tying a cup there in the middle, so that "What are they doing?" asked the man. The town man asked, "What are they doing?" "They are taking water out of the river," replied a woman standing close by. The woman standing nearby the town man said him that they were taking out the water of the river with a cup? Asked the man. They were taking out water from the river with a cup. Oh, yes, replied the woman. But it will take hours to get a bucketful, said the man. But it will take a long hour to take a bucketful of water. The man replied to the woman. Yes, said the woman, it is slow. The woman said, yes, it is slow. But we always get water out of the river like this only. But the woman replied that they always do the same way they are doing right now. It's a slow way, but it always works. It is a slow way. They were knowing that it is a slow way, but they were knowing that it will work. The man from the town was feeling surprised. The man was surprised to see all this. The villagers were holding a rope and tied in a cup. He was surprised to see all this. He scratched his chin and said to himself, these people are all mad. That means they are all mad. They are not thinking about the time and nothing else. But they were taking a cup of water inside they were taking out cup of water from the river. When he got back to the town, he told all his friends. And again, the man from the town came back to his town and told about how the villagers were taking out a bucket full of water from the river using cup. And the town man was telling all this to all his friends about what he had seen in the village. All his friends laughed, and they were laughing about how they all were working and on their idea about taking out a bucketful water. Taking out a bucketful of water will take hours and hours for them to take out a water using cup which they had tied in between. Now I hope this chapter is clear till here. Now we will end it over here. Homework for you all is to learn the exercises of poem The Snare from workbook. Okay, thank you.